Thank you for everybody coming. If you can, please silence your cell phones. And at this time, this is a work session agenda meeting for March 7th, 2008. Roll call, please, Mr. Spears.
All right, Mr. Brown.
It's a 7, yes.
Cox.
Here.
Dominic.
Here.
Mr. Epperson.
Here.
Escadane.
Here.
Jenkins.
Present.
Mr. Lynn.
Here.
Ms. Lynch.
Here.
Mr. Pearson.
Present.
Smith.
Here.
Thibodeau.
Here.
Have a quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Spears. At this time, we'll do the invocation, the pledge. Invocation by Commissioner Pearson, and I'll do the pledge. Pearson.
Let us pray. Eternal God, our Father, we come now as always thankful and grateful for all of thy good and perfect gifts. We pray continued blessings upon us individually and us as this body. We're thankful for Herschel Brown, who's come back to us, and thankful that you answered our prayers and that you continue to strengthen him and keep him so that he can be a benefit to the. We ask as always that you continue to allow us to do things decently and in order. Your will be done in this place. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Everyone, please face the flag and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, at this time, I entertain reports from the administration.
Good afternoon, Commissioners, Commissioner Cox, President Cox. We have a couple of items today we'd like to cover with you all. I did provide you a handout at your desk. It's called the Parish Media Relations Profile Sheet. If you can fill it out for me, I appreciate it. This tells us, would you like to have put in news coverage as a point of contact? And this is what we would give to the media on your behalf. Was anything in reference to the media about your district? If you can fill it out, give it back to Mr. Nita Mills, we appreciate it, and that's what we'll use. The second item is that I'd like Attorney Grubbs to give you an update on the most recent decision by the Second Appeal Court.
Mr. President, members, as y'all know, for probably a year and a half or 2 years, the parish has been in the city have both been in a legal fight with the succession of Dr. George McCormick, who is the former parish coroner. At issue in the litigation was about $350,000 worth of funds that were left over in the coroner's accounts at the time of Dr. McCormick's passing. And the issue is whether those funds belong to the city and or whether they belong to the coroner's office or whether they were the personal property of the coroner. We fought the case through the district court, where we prevailed in convincing the court that the funds were properly the property of the coroner's office as opposed to Dr. McCormick's succession. The case was appealed to the Second Circuit Court of Appeal. Last week we got an opinion back that indicates that well, it was an affirmation in what to me was not a particularly surprising decision. The case isn't completed yet, in that Dr. McCormick's succession could still file for an application for review with the Supreme Court. They wouldn't be entitled to the review. They can just make the application for it. The court could then accept it or reject it. I'd be very surprised if they did, so I think you can more or less consider this matter concluded. That's all I have.
Is that it?
No. No, sir. Thank you, Attorney Grubbs. I appreciate it. Commissioners, I just want to remind you all, March 14th, 11:30 a.m. is the next meeting for the Intergovernmental Consortium that we have at the Independence Stadium Skybox. It's March 14th at 11:30 a.m. This will be our third meeting with the city, council, school board, and parish commission government. Just want to give you an update on yesterday. Senator Jackson and the entire state delegation held a public forum at the chamber yesterday to take into account citizens' priorities and concerns for the upcoming session, particularly the regular session. So it was a room full of people, about 40 different groups, and we had about 2 minutes each to talk about what the priorities are from each of our agencies. And I did brief them on the White Springs Bridge, and we also talked about the sewer District 8 funding requirement, and also the regional water supplies study. In essence, I took the top 3 priorities and went forward with that in hopes of getting those funded. But specifically, the White Springs Bridge project, as you know, which has been a major liability for us and is currently being closed, that was our #1 priority. But we did get a chance to talk about 3 priorities. And the good news that came out of that was, as you probably heard, the governor said he's going to put $515 million in transportation. And he did talk about bridges. And I emphasized the point yesterday to Representative Barbara Norton, who was on the Transportation Committee, that we need her help. And we factored some information today, giving emphasis and more detail on why we need the bridge project funded. Had an opportunity to talk to Senator Cheeks yesterday, and she said that's her #1 priority, to get that bridge open and replaced. So we think it's tracking. However, we want to continue to give emphasis to that by perhaps meeting with the new Secretary of Transportation for the state and communicating to him what our priorities are in respect to that bridge. So we will continue to give it due diligence, every ways and means possible to get the bridge replaced. But I think the forum was the first of its kind, very successful endeavor, and certainly I was impressed with it. So those are the things, and I did include at your station also copies of the call in detail of what the governor is spelled out as how he's going to spend the money. And I also gave you a copy of the agenda from yesterday's meeting as to which groups appeared before the state legislative group yesterday. So I think, like I say, it was very productive, and I did get a chance to go and hear the governor speak yesterday, and he gave special emphasis to Cyber Command, which we totally embraced. They added additional $7 million to that $50 million project, so we were very appreciative of that. Also, I want to welcome back Commissioner Brown. We miss you, and we're glad to have you back with us, working with us, and we appreciate you. That concludes my report, sir.
Thanks, sir. At this time, I'm going to entertain 2 commissioners right now who have a few things. Mr. Jenkins first.
Thank you, Mr. President. I left at all of my colleagues' workstations there a pamphlet from the Multicultural Center of the South, and I just wanted to let you know why I did that. First of all, I would like to encourage any of you who have not made a visit to the center to put it on your schedule to go. It's a very dynamic place, and it's something more than a museum. It's not just a museum. We often see these things and we think of it as a museum. But Mr. President, there's more to it than that. I believe what we as a governing body must begin to realize is that our citizenry, our citizens, the makeup of our citizens, is of many different and diverse cultures and backgrounds. There are a lot of different traditions that has to be honored. And I think as a governing body, we do need to look forward at some point to partnering with a group such as the Multicultural Center of the South to help us with diverse issues that may come up, such as rendering services to various peoples in our community. I was very impressed with a presentation that was made by Brian Crawford at the meeting that I went to earlier today, where he talked about the fire department and how they were able to work with the Multicultural Center of the South to try to make sure that when they were rendering services in certain communities, that certain traditions, certain language barriers and things of that nature were being addressed. And I just think we as a governing body need to be mindful of that too. Northwest Louisiana is rapidly becoming one of the most diverse areas in our state. We need to respect these various backgrounds and know that sometimes things can arise in us as a parish providing services to people. and that we need to make sure that we are trying to align ourselves with groups and organizations that could help us talk to people and make sure that we're honoring their backgrounds. As chairman of our Legal Services Board of Northwest Louisiana, one of the things that we did, we found that our Hispanic community is really growing, and in trying to provide legal services, you know, just the plain language barriers sometimes presented a problem. But we were able to get interpreters who could come in and assist us with what we're doing. And I also want to just bring to the attention of our commission body and also to our administration, you know, the Hispanic community is rapidly growing in this area. And I know a lot of the information we put out and the communications that we put out in English, which is our language and will always be our language, and it's English first in my book. But I'm saying we cannot ignore that sometimes we may need to include other languages in some of the information pamphlets, and especially on services when we're sending out information. So I just wanted to just bring this to the attention of my colleagues, and I will be talking about this a little bit more in some of our upcoming meetings. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Dominic?
Oh, I had one person I wanted to introduce, if that was okay.
Yes, go
Mr.
ahead.
President, I wanted to bring up Miss Betty Matthews. If you can come up, Miss Matthews, she was recently appointed to the Freeport-Bossier Tourism Board by this commission, and she's from our commission, District 1, and she wanted to come in and just say a few words to us today.
I just simply wanted to say to all of you, thank you for your vote, and I'm looking forward to working with you. I'm available. Just let me know what I can do. And once again, I appreciate it, and I'll do you a good job.
She's a hard worker, and know what she tells is saying is the truth. So we look forward to working with you, Miss Matthews.
Okay. I've got Mr. Epperson next.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Dominique, I thought I saw something in the news about Vivian being a town that needs a second look. Some good accolades I saw going across the road the other day on television.
It was.
Yeah.
This magazine's coming out that and actually Kurt Foreman was at our chamber banquet, and he announced that the other day that it was Vivian was noted as a town that needed a second look for economic development, and it's going to be in a magazine that's going to come out in the near future, and hopefully it'll help us out up in the area.
All right.
I know Miss Matthews will be working her hard out to try to help us out too.
Okay. Good accolades for Vivian and Caddo Parish. My concerns go toward the administration. I was speaking with Shreveport Green today relative to some things I had seen them doing within the urban areas, and I know that we had supported them initially at their inception. And there was one program I asked them about as far as doing some things in the parish, such as neighborhood signs and beautification program as far as public ways on the roads and all. And they stated that these funds were administered through the city, and it's called a neighborhood investment program. Now, I don't know if you get those items through community development block grant, and I think that's through the city's community development. Right. Is there a way that the parish can seek some of those funds where we can do some things for our established neighborhoods in the parish?
Commissioner Epperson, I think at one time it was discussed at the Ways and Means Committee last year, but nothing have materialized of that.
Well, could I ask maybe that someone maybe in your area could research this through, I guess, HUD, wherever they get the community development block money, or
Yes, sir.
right,
We can.
and see if we can get some, because we have a lot of neighborhood organizations that are doing things, and they are asking what Shreveport Green can collaborate with them in doing to beautify their neighborhoods in the rural areas.
Yes, sir. We'll take care of that.
Also, the prior to being elected and once elected, there was a lot of press relative to the library board, as far as employee dissension, problem with board members and things of that nature. I know that I think we made an appointment a little while back, but if you could, maybe in our first meeting in April, I've had a lot of citizens asking me, well, hey, what's the situation with the Shreve Memorial Library now? if we might could get the executive director of the Street Memorial Library or the chairman of that board to come and give us a status report as to how things are going. I know I hadn't seen anything recently in the paper, but the citizens asked me about it, and especially too since I have a district that's going to be moved, a voting precinct that will be moved from Caddo Fire District 3's substation number 4 to the Street Memorial Library on Pines Road, and I think that there were some problems emanating from that particular branch, and we'd like to hopefully make that, that there's a smooth transition in that aspect. Also, animal and mosquito animal control, I forget what they call it now, but that's what it is. Animal services. They also, there were some, things that was experienced there. And especially with the situation of the dog attacks recently. I saw the news report the other night where the police had to shoot the pit bull. Right. And I think it was threatening some children. And the thing that came out to me was that they interviewed a postal worker, and the postal worker stated that they did not deliver mail to that address because of the threat of that dog. Now, what I would like to ask, if there's a possibility that Animal Service can get in contract with the supervision at the postal services, and that could be some instant information, because those mail carriers are out every day. They could give us almost a running total when dogs are running loose, where they perceive threats at. And if we can get a line of communication going between those postal workers and those postal supervisors as to where these dogs are, they aren't on leashes, they're not properly fenced off, and where there are threats, whereas the mail carriers won't even deliver mail because of that, I think that could help us provide better services to the citizens, and then cut down on that threat of dog attacks. Also, there's an anonymous letter that was floating around within a community in West Shreveport, and they were fraudulently using the Timberline Homeowners Association. I brought a copy of it. It's relative to dog and animal control, and I know at some point in time, a lot of times we get information from people that have in behalf of animal controls, of things that they see that's wrong with animal control and services. And if you might take this and give it to the animal control service and see if they have any correspondence that might match that. I've also turned that in to the postal supervisor, because they are going to inspect that too, because it's listed an organization that is a legal entity and is using their name fraudulently, and seeing if we can get that squared away, maybe find out who those perpetrators are. I received the email also from Commissioner Lynch relative to National County Government Week, and I'd like to say that it's very important, and I commend her on wanting to do something in lines of recognizing National County Government Week. And I would like to lend whatever amount of service I can to help in those endeavors. And I would hope that the administration, as well as the Commission Clerk's Office, what we can do to enhance and make the community aware of National County Government Week in Caddo Parish. I think it would certainly be a good positive feather in our cap. And some of the things that I think we can utilize as to what we can do, we can have the commissioner for a day. We had that type program when I was previously on the commission. We selected a high school student. We had them to come down for that particular day. They had an opportunity to tour parish government and sit up and conduct a mock meeting. We could showcase the drug discount card that we have. We can have displays in public libraries. And I think this will be a good time in April also for each of us commissioners, if we would like to at least hold one community meeting within our respective districts, so we can showcase the things that parish government does. I would also like to see us have maybe a banner out in front of Government Plaza. Have a banner at the Caddo Parish Health Unit, letting people know that we are parish government, and the integral services and things that we provide on behalf of our parish as well as our constituents. So I would certainly offer my services and everything that I could do to help with us in making Parish Government Week, or probably we need a month, you know what I mean, to let people know just exactly what we do. And that goes a long way when we go out for a tax proposal or some kind of thing that we need the citizen to vote on. The reason that we don't get support is because they don't know us. They don't know what we do. Some people don't know the difference between a commissioner and a councilman. So that's something I think we need to make sure that we get straight. Also, I had an opportunity during one of the conferences to meet a company out of New York City which collect delinquent taxes in cities. And I would like for the administration, if they would, I brought some information to see if that's something that may help us. It may be something we can do to help collect delinquent taxes without taxing our present staff. Possibly we might need to get with the tax assessor's office, and I'd like to pass that information on to you. The 2010 census is heading in. I don't know what, if you have a timetable on that. I have a timetable. You do? So I want to let everybody start thinking about the 2010 census.
So we start working.
Right. So the citizens as well. So that's something we can also get out to the citizens during National Parish Government, County Government Week. Also, I got a brochure on economic development. I noticed we have some items that we have some signs on stating that this property is available for economic development. And one sign that I noticed on 70th Street, that's west of General Electric, the grass is growing up around it. So all of those signs that we have advertising that industrial land is available, if we please make sure that we got all the weeds and the grass cut around it where it can become visible. And hopefully, I would like to ask the administration, or if you have a plan in place for seeing what we can do to promote economic development. You know, we have X amount of land that's available, so I think we need to do something to let people know that this land is available. I don't know if we can contract with a realtor, or we can develop a DVD or something and send it out, but I think we need to do something with this land besides having it sitting there and offer the tax rolls and see if we can get it to be productive. And here's a brochure that you may also want to check on about retail development within areas of the parish. And with that, sir, thank you for your time.
All right, we'll go to Commissioner Pearson and then Commissioner Lynch.
Just wanted to make an announcement on Tuesday, coming Tuesday, what was that, the 10th or the 11th?
That's 11th.
That we had planned to have a meeting of the code enforcement. We're going to have that, cancel that meeting, or postpone it, and have that meeting the following Monday. I think it'll be the 17th at 1:30 prior to commission meeting.
Can you see that notice gets sent out to those?
You got it.
Okay, thank you. That's it?
That's it.
Ms. Lynch.
I wanted to just publicly offer congratulations to Commissioner Pearson, who was elected second vice president of the Police Jury Association, and to Commissioner Cox. I know they don't want to brag on themselves, so I am. Commissioner Cox, who was successful in his bid for a member at large on the Police Jury Association. And I'll let Woody brag on his staff members that were also earned some appointments.
Okay.
All right.
I certainly thank you, Commissioner Lynch. Robert Glass and Jimmy Woodington. Robert has been picked as the treasurer for the Organization of Parish Administrative Officials, and then he would subsequently move up to president, I believe, when Mr. Pearson will be president of the Police Jury State Convention. Then Jimmy Woodington is now the representative for Region 4 for the same association. So I'm proud that we have a high presence on the state level, and I think these individuals will do us a great service to represent our parish. Oh yeah. Charles just finished his tenure as the state police jury president of the Lawyers Association, Attorneys Association.
Parish attorneys.
Parish Attorney Association.
Yeah.
So we're very active on the state level, I'm telling you.
And it's about time Northwest Louisiana started being a player.
Yes.
We've got Mr. Jenkins.
Thank you, Mr. President. You know, I noticed when all the accolades were going out for the statewide elections, I was left out. I was elected secretary of the Black Caucus, Louisiana Police Jury Association. That is a statewide office. So the next time the news release go out, add my name to it.
I think that was for me.
Also, also, if I may, Mr. President, I want to make a motion to amend the agenda for some new business, if it's appropriate to do it at this time.
So move, go ahead.
Okay, this is to amend the agenda for a Ways and Means Committee report on new business.
Got a motion? Second by Commissioner Epperson. Making a amendment to the
work session agenda for, yes.
Any conversations? If not, please vote.
Hold on.
Oh.
Thinking.
Just thinking?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Vote. And that passes. Okay. At this time, I'd like to suspend the rules and allow visitors.
Second.
Okay, without exception, or already been moved, and let's have Ms. Jo Rose come up and address the commission, please.
Oh, Joe?
Yeah.
Name and address, please.
Name and address. Jo Rose, 652 Wheatchief Drive, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And I want to thank you, Mr. Wilson, Mr. Cox, and the members of the commission. It's my pleasure to be here today with you, in addition to seeing my friends and driving past the home I lived in for 26 years before I was transferred to Baton Rouge about 7 years ago. I haven't met several of you, and I wanted to put a face with a name, both yours and mine. This is home for me, and I believe it's important for our community to be proactive and not merely maintaining contact with what's going on in Baton Rouge, in addition to making sure that we're properly being recognized for the contributions that this area has made, not only locally, but also to the state. Thank you for the opportunity of working with you as your eyes and ears in Baton Rouge. I'm very familiar with local government and how vital their services are to their citizens, having worked for 3 mayors for the city of Shreveport for 13 years. I'd like to share with you what I do in Baton Rouge during the legislative session for the parish. First, I read every bill that is filed and mark those that are pertinent to the parish. Those I send to Mr. Grubb for his review. After he reviews the bills, he forwards them to the appropriate person for their comments. After receiving the comments, I track the bills according to the information that I receive. There are several different types of tracking: support, oppose, monitor, amend. I attend all the committee meetings daily, especially looking at bills that didn't affect us when they were first filed, but could possibly affect us if they were amended. I talk with our legislative delegation to let them know what bills to be on the lookout for and what bills we need their help on. And I'd like to add an aside here. Our legislative delegation is very focused on looking out for our area, in addition to taking care of their special interests: healthcare, transportation, economic development, education, crime, and so forth. I'm looking forward to working with them again this second special session and the upcoming regular legislative session. But back to what I do. Any bill that has a fiscal note, either costing or appropriating money, I place on a different list to make sure that it is topmost on my list of bills to closely monitor. I attend the appropriation committee meetings where the appropriation bill, supplemental appropriation bill, and approval of the capital outlay bill are heard. I also attend Ways and Means committee meetings where all the tax reduction bills are debated. Before each meeting, I've already talked with members of our delegation and usually all the members of the committee of our concerns. As you know, all the lobbying has already taken place long before the bill is actually heard in a committee meeting. So I usually have a good idea about what's going to happen to the bill. In all my years of lobbying, I've only seen one testimony change the minds of committee members. It dealt with dangerous railroad crossing. A lot of tears were shed that day when a mother told of her children. There were 3 children in a car being killed by a train at a crossing that didn't have crossbars. And that's the only time I've ever seen a committee change their mind on what they were going to do on a bill. Once the bill is heard and passed out, it goes to the office, it goes to the floor. And at the floor, it's only debated by the legislators. They have the information that we've given them, and they debate among each other. Once the bill is heard and passed out, it goes to the opposite House or Senate committee for another hearing. After passing out of that committee, it goes to the floor for debate once again. Unless a local bill is controversial or the delegation is split, there's usually no debate on it. The only tracking required there is to meet with the committee staff members to make sure that it's put on the agenda and keep it moving. I also spend a good deal of time working the Police Jury Association and the Louisiana Municipal Association. We meet formally every Wednesday at the LMA office with all the local governing bodies, the appraisers, other cities, parishes, sheriffs, school boards, and port commissions. And feel free to come down to Baton Rouge at any time to attend these meetings. You'll find out a lot of information. As a committee, we review all the bills that are going through the system, sharing information about any other bill, and coordinating how we will work together on bills that affect everyone. They are good resources for us and sometimes see issues differently than we do. The more information I have, the better job I can do for you. But I also need to mention to you that you are the most important lobbyists for Caddo Parish. The legislators want to hear from you. I send information to you about what's happening, and it's your job to take it from there. It has much more impact when you call a legislator and back up what I've told them. Every night I write an updated legislative report about what has happened that day. Sometimes I include notes from a committee that is debating something that might not affect the parish, but might be of interest to you. That way you know what's going on. I also like to encourage you, especially when you're bored, to go into the state website at www.legis.state.la.us while the debates are taking place. If something happens, especially on the floor, you can call a legislator and let them know you're watching the debate and reminding him or her what the parish's position on the bill is. In ending, I'd like to invite you to ask any questions of concern or interest to you, and also, again, to tell you how much I enjoy working for my home parish and this honorable commission. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. And as always, like to have you come up here as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
At this time, is there anybody? I have Ms. Lynch and then Mr. Epperson. Okay, Mr. Epperson.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Rose, may we have a copy of your report for the record, please, ma'am?
Whatever it said?
Yes, ma'am.
Sure.
Thank you.
No questions?
Ms. McCullough.
Yes, in relation to House Bill 31 regarding elected officials contracting with the state, maybe give me an example. I know I worked a program that was actually directed by a state representative. Does that mean he can no longer contract with the state to, that's what that means?
That's what it means, yes.
Okay.
I expressed some concern about that bill to several of the senators, not our senators, other senators, and they were not receptive at all. They said, you know, we're getting rid of businesses, we're getting rid of state contracts ourselves, we think everybody else should.
So, for instance, if the contract ends in like April, that means that they're like a deadline, or?
When the contract ends, it's supposed to end.
It's supposed to end and no more.
But you can always write to the Ethics Commission and ask them to give you an opinion, because they may see something different.
I like the idea.
Mm-hmm.
I can appreciate the idea.
Yeah.
What's happening is these state programs are coming into the schools that are in corrective action, and they're just taking over.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was a great idea. So that's exactly what that means.
That's what it means.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, Mr. Dominic.
That applied to, I guess, the state legislators, statewide elected officials, some of the governor's staff. Is that correct?
I can't. I don't understand.
I'm sorry. I got a cold and I can't speak real well. The prohibition applied to state legislators, statewide elected officials, and those type of things. I don't think it applied to us, but it applied to state legislators doing contracts with state agencies,
and some of it affects local elected officials. And if you have any question, you need to write the Ethics Commission, because they're trying to really crack down on a lot of this stuff. Because, you know, the perception is Louisiana has all kinds of, you know.
What bill number was that?
31.
31,
Senate bill, House bill?
House bill.
House bill.
Okay, is that it? I got Mr. Pearson.
Joe, didn't I read something that said in regards to local officials, and that's what really catches my eye, that you can't own 10% of a business that does.
Well, you have to report it. You can own it, but if you own 10% or more, then you have to report it on your financial statement. They want
Doing business
everything.
with the state.
And some boards and commissions also have to report.
Yeah, they do.
You need to look at any boards and commissions that you serve on and find out if you need to report too.
Okay,
That it?
that's it.
I see no other commissioners up at this time. Ms. Joe, I appreciate you coming out.
Well, thank you so much.
All right, you have a
Thank you,
great
members of the
weekend.
commission.
You're not gonna try to drive back in this weather, are you?
No, I'm going to spend the night.
Okay.
I appreciate you too, Ms. Rose,
Thank you so
all
much.
that you do.
And feel free, you've got my cell number, call me. I'm down there and I'm available. If you're coming in, call me, let me know. I can make hotel reservations or whatever, and then I can show you around. And I think that, once you come down and see what's happening, you'll understand, how important it is that we maintain contact, that we see what's going on and be proactive. Need to voice more. And you can tell how the governor has lined up all the committee chairs. We don't have any. And it's just, it's not right. So I was always told the squeaky wheel gets oiled. So we need to be squeaky wheels.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Ms. Joe. I appreciate you coming too. Thank you.
Okay, no other commissioners are on the board, so let's go into old business.
Yeah, I have one other thing though. As you know, an employee was accidentally killed, I believe, last week, and anyway, a member of the administrative staff is out on the limb on her personal credit card for a remaining balance of $102 for a floral arrangement that was sent to the funeral. If any commissioners want to participate in that, retiring that debt. There's no old business on the agenda, sir.
All right, then we'll move into new business.
I have a group of ordinances for introduction by title.
Okay, I have Mr. Epperson.
Well, I wanted to address slightly the issue Mr. Spears had made about the floral arrangement.
Yes, sir.
If I may, maybe food for thought at our next meeting. If we, I think this is probably the second time we had one of our colleagues that was ill, then we had a death. If we could maybe establish a little fund and have someone to administer it where we kick in, and then I can get a flower shop. We can just pick up the phone and call, and they'll send flowers in our behalf, and then we take care of them, and we won't have to worry with passing the kitty around. I heard about this late, and I went and visited the family yesterday evening at the family hour at 5 o'clock, and I gave them a personal contribution because I didn't have a chance to get back down here. But I think maybe Mr. Chairman, if that's something we could think about, maybe we could get us a little fund together and open up a checking account. I can get a florist we just pick the phone up and call, and they'll send flowers, and then that way we won't have to be worried about everybody trying to get together and pass the hat.
Sounds good.
At a particular time.
I agree 100%. We will do that, and we'll get with the proper entities to get that done. Mr. Wilson, I'll talk to you after the meeting on that. Okay. Okay. All right. New business, Mr. Clerk.
Okay.
And we're going to. Okay. I think we're going to have an Englobo, Mr. Thibodeau.
Right. I make a motion to move all of the ordinances under new business in the work session to our regular session under consent agenda.
I have a motion to Englobo ordinances 447 to ordinance 4757. That's what I said, 4747, isn't it?
Yeah, or to
Okay.
4756.
Okay.
Yeah.
As well as
I started on the back page, didn't I?
Resolution 4 and 5.
As well as resolution 4 and 5 as a Englobo. Got a motion? Do I have a second?
Second, yes.
Motion by Mr. Thibodeau, second by Mr. Escudade to Englobo. Everybody please vote.
I was on the board, Mr. Chairman.
Oh,
I was on the board.
I
should have
you're
been
not,
audible.
board's gone. What was your?
No, but I wanted to get a clarification. Ordinance number 4755. I wanted some discussion on that. And if that's moved to the
Everything.
if it's moved to the regular session, we'll have an opportunity
Yes.
to discuss it at that point. Okay.
Okay. Oh. And that does pass. Okay, that takes us to the consent agenda, Mr. Clerk, which,
That's all that remains.
okay.
Move to adjourn.
I have one other thing.
Raising our hands.
Well, see, we're going way too quick. The computer doesn't catch up. Okay, Mr. Jenkins.
I wanted to move the Ways and Means Committee report that was amended to the work session agenda to the regular agenda for discussion today.
Okay. Have a move to move the work session, or Ways and Means meeting to the work session. Hold on one second.
I think y'all moved it, brother.
Yeah, we did. Sorry about that, but we did.
I'll move the ordinances.
We moved the ordinances and the
resolution, too.
resolutions.
Okay.
So we have a motion and a second for the Ways and Means Committee report.
Yes, sir.
Everybody please vote. That's okay. And that passes. And at this time, we will, anybody else? If not, we'll adjourn. And then we should go straight into the work session of March 7th. Into our regular meeting. From the work session to our regular meeting. Roll call, Mr. Clerk.
Sir. Mr. Brown.
Present.
Cox.
Here.
Mr. Dominic.
Here.
Mr. Epperson.
Here.
Mr. Escaday.
Here.
Jenkins.
Present.
Mr. Lynn.
Here.
Mr. Lynch.
Here.
Ms. McCulloch.
Here.
Mr. Pearson.
Present.
Mr. Smith.
Here.
Mr. Thibodeau.
Here.
Have a full house, Mr. President.
Thank you. I'll ask Mr. Smith do our invocation, Mr. Escaday do our pledge.
Father, we pause once again to give you the honor and glory for giving us a free country, giving us a place where we can worship you. Father, we do thank you again for Mr. Brown's recovery. So thankful to have him back with us. Father, guide us and direct us. May all we do bring honor and glory to you. And I pray.
Amen. Please face the flag. Say along with me. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we just keep rolling along. I'd like to adopt the minutes from held on February 21st, 2008.
So
Moved by Commissioner Escaday, seconded by Commissioner Brown. Everybody, please vote. And that passes with one out of the chamber. Special resolutions.
We have none today, sir.
Thanks, sir. Communiques and reports from the administration.
Yes, President Cox, I just have one comment. We are certainly deeply saddened by the untimely demise of one of our parish employees.